All right, hey everybody, I wanted to do a YouTube live for your upwelling and downwelling activity. So in your Google Classroom, there is a document called Upwelling and Downwelling, and it is a PDF file that has 3 pages. Page 1, page 2, and page 3 is the question page. And this is really the important part right here, this little activity portion that you need to cut out. So if you wanted to print it out the larger version, it looks like this, which is fine, okay? Or the small version, which would be this right here, which is what I hand out in class, okay? So I'm done collecting all the papers and stuff in class, but if you are in person or hybrid, you will be doing this activity actually in class. Okay, if you're full-time remote, you're gonna have to print off your own copies, and this is what you need, okay? So once you print these off, the instructions are pretty self-explanatory, although the wording in here is a little bit difficult to follow, and that's why we work on it in class. As a remote student, you are welcome to stick around and work with us in the class Google Meet. That's fine. If not, then if you do have questions, you can always remind me and so forth, okay? And then I could set up a Google Meet and we can discuss anything that you have. So the background here is we want to learn about upwelling and downwelling, and those are both ocean processes. The upwelling replaces nutrient-rich, cold water, and it circulates that along coastal regions. And then downwelling is the opposite, so it brings like warm water, kind of sinks and circulates there. So there's an opposite of upwelling and downwelling. And usually when it's upwelling on one coast, it's probably downwelling on the other coast if we're talking about ocean basins, okay? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna build a game piece model, a board, and it's gonna come out like this, okay? So we have to cut our sheet in half, just cut that out. And there are some other cutout areas that you're gonna need to cut out. Go ahead and cut those out with scissors and so forth. And then there's these, I like to think like rifle scope marks right here and a rifle scope mark right here. And if you're in class, I would give you this little, what do they call those? A little prong, little thing like that that allows you to stick those things together. If you don't have one of these at home, a brad, then you can use a pencil when you're doing it too. Just make sure that you line it up. If I was using a pencil, I could use it just like this and just line it up like that. And this is going to allow us to rotate our board and so forth. And then we can examine what's taking place in different hemispheres for one, and finding out wind direction, near surface flow for the water, as well as identifying which region is upwelling or downwelling, okay? So you're going to form that thing like this. It's kind of hard when you see it upside down, but over here is the hemisphere. So there are 2 locations on the hemispheres for the north hemisphere. You look for an N in the front there. We do have a north, south, east, west marker over here. I color coded the upwelling region for blue already for you, and the downwelling region would be red. And then 2 positions for the northern hemisphere. And then you can also move it into the southern hemisphere and see what's taking place down there. We can see the S in the hemisphere there for the southern and so forth. So this piece by itself represents the wave-like things out here in the middle. This is our ocean basin. And then you can also look at the continental regions in relationship to those the ocean basin. So like the west side of the ocean basin would be the east side of the continent, and the opposite over here, the east side of the ocean basin would be the west side of the continent over here, okay? But you're gonna have to manipulate this to answer those questions, and then you will submit your questions to show that you did this. Now you could either modify this PDF like this on Cami to submit it if you're remote, or you can take a screenshot picture of it and then submit it in Google Classroom when you're finished. Okay, so it looks something like like that. I just highlighted the answers when we went through, but each question gives you a little scenario, and we just went through and kind of did our stuff there. So that's what you'll submit, and hope that helps you when you organize that to organize your upwelling, downwelling.